Rolling, bitch.
Episode 30. Wow. Hard to believe that shit.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pads.
Episode 30. Are you kidding me? We've made it to episode 30. Rod's only quit 28 of the previous 30 episodes, so not bad. We're having a hell of a run. Rod Ryan over there. Ginty here, and we're going to talk about something very cool in a couple minutes. It was a very odd project, actually, that Rod sent to me earlier today. Tommy Thayer, he plays, he's the latest guitarist in Kiss. Can I say it that way? Is that fair?
Not the late. I mean, he's been in there longer than anyone else has been in there. Some of these replacements we're going to talk about have been in there longer than the people they replaced. But Tommy Thayer plays the Ace Frehley character, and he's been in Kiss forever. So he having a birthday this week. Yeah. So I sent over to you, what about best replacement musicians? We're not going singers though, because that's too easy.
Yeah, that you can run down 5 people pretty quickly there. But when you said replacement musicians, I was like, I literally sat there going, shit.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, now I know there is, but yeah, we'll get to that here in just a second. This is going to be fun because I discovered a lot of other shit in my research today. I want to throw out there as well about some musicians. So this is going to be fun, man. I can't wait to get to that coming up in our second segment. But Rod, you got some emails.
Yeah, I got a couple of things I wanted to run down. I did want to start the show off. Thoughts and prayers to our boy Mundo. He's got some stuff happening, and we've talked about Mundo now 2 weeks. That was the dude that showed up to the wrestling matches with our awesome Playpants sign, and I know he's going through some stuff right now. So we love you, Mundo, and shout out to you. And he's like one of our, he's a past the gravy guy, but right. he's an OG Playpants guy as well. So shout out to him. Let's just get it over with. World Series, it's over. Astros, it's fun. It's fun. We were talking before we went on. You're like, well, it's cool. They went, and it's the old. Well, at least you were there. That's true. It really is. I'm on the Bills Mafia page. And they're always just throwing out topics to get people to talk. And, somebody said, would you rather not have them go again and lose? It's like, no, you want them to go. Even if they lose, you want them to go. You want your team in the championship game. And it overtakes the whole city. And it's a great vibe. It's a major letdown when they lose and lose in the fashion that they did. But they made it, and it was really, really fun. And I would do it all over again, knowing that if, they were going to lose, you still want them there. So shout out to the Astros. They were great this year. Everyone wants to know where Carlos Correa is going to end up, probably at the Yankees, but nobody knows. All right, so that's Astros. Next up, Halloween. Jason, how was Halloween with the Ginties this year in New Orleans?
Dude, we did fun things, and I wrecked my face. You can't really tell because we do a YouTube.
No, it looks wrecked. I can tell. It looks wrecked.
Just my normal face. Why you gotta be like that, man? That's just how I look. I'm fucking
trashed. Jeez. So, right. What did you do? Did you get hit?
My wife puts these huge spiders all over her house. So it looks like there's all these fucking spiders crawling down her house. So it's actually quite scary. And then me being Nerdville, I make all this Halloween music and I have all this spider shit going on. So I put up some big speakers. So our house is full of sound, sight, lights, all this shit, right? So I dress up as like this dude covered in cobwebs, and I spent a lot of time crafting with some glue and some sewing over the week leading up to Halloween. I sewed a bunch of spiders into a jacket, and then I went out and got temporary, and here's where I fucking failed, dude. Although I looked badass, temporary tattoos that were like spiders and webs and shit.
Okay.
And I went Travis Barker, dude. Oh, I should have taken a picture without all this shit on.
Yeah, dude.
I had a fucking neck tat. I had them on my face. I had big spiders on my face. I'm like, I get why Travis does this. This is awesome. I'm walking around. I cleaned everything else off. I kept the Travis Barker tats all over my face and my neck and on my hands and shit. And I'm just walking around. I'm like, this is pretty fucking tough, man. And my wife goes, if you don't go upstairs right now,
get rid of it. Get it out.
Hey, a little professional tip for all you temporary tattoo kids out there. Don't do it because they don't come off real easy.
What do you use to take it off?
I don't know. I fucking grabbed soap and a washcloth and I just started raking my face. And that's why if I've got like fucking just raw, like I sandpapered my fucking face, man. It's brutal. So no more temporary tats for me. Thank you very much. And now I'm just sitting around eating a shit ton of candy, dude.
I don't know where the candy is in my house. I think my wife took it somewhere. It's not really around. I mean, we don't want to give, it's like rocket fuel for my 3.5-year-old. So, I mean, you know what that is. That's like, so it's not just, I can tell you it's not sitting around. I never really took a look at what we had left over. I think I got about 20 pounds of candy. And I know we went through a lot of it. I don't think we went through all of it, but wild in my neighborhood. Yeah, it's great. And people go all out. I mean, there were like full on kind of like haunted houses that people did in their front yards and just people everywhere. It's like if you wanted to film a movie of a Halloween night and what it looks like, and maybe just you needed kids in the street, you could just film. There's just kids everywhere. It's pretty awesome here. Yeah, it's fun. It's just awesome. It sucked that it was on Sunday night.
Yes.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing that kind of blew about it. And just think, it's just going to take forever for it to get back. My kid's like not even going to be trick-or-treating by the time it gets back to the weekend, which maybe it'll be good.
The problem in New Orleans was we had the Saints taking on the Buccaneers, and it was a later game. It was a 3:00 start. So the shit wasn't over to like 6:30. So everyone's watching the game. And of course,
we had the World Series here. What are you kidding me?
Yeah. So, I mean, we had that. We had the World Series. So we were actually lower number of kids trick-or-treating this year. We still had a great time, a lot of kids, but less than last year because last year was a Saturday and you didn't have to contend with the Saints game here in New Orleans. So it was kind of an odd thing. Some lady lost her fucking keys.
Oh, no.
I'm like picking up all the pumpkins and shit at the end of the night. And there's this poor lady walking up and down the street with a flashlight. She's like, "You see any keys?" I go, "It's pitch black out. No, I haven't seen shit." She's like, "Damn, I can't find my car keys." I'm like, "Oh, shit."
We had and I'm sure you had similar weather as ours. I just realized this right now. I didn't talk about this on the morning show or anything. My kid did not knock on one door or ring one doorbell. We just went to houses. Everyone was set up on their porch. They were set up outside. My kid did not have to knock on a door. I just realized that right now. Because, obviously we went with her. But yeah, we didn't even go to houses because there were houses. Now that I think about it, there were houses, they had Halloween decorations up. If their door wasn't open, if they didn't have a table out or something, we didn't go to that house.
No.
It was just people that were out. Because it was really nice outside. Yeah. So it was just people outside. But this neighborhood, there were, parents giving out beers and everything to other parents and stuff. So really, really fun. I mean, it's a great holiday here where I live in the Heights in Houston.
And I love the idea. And my goal always is if I can get a little kid to run away from my house scared because of the costume I'm wearing, the music, the lighting, everything like that. I've won. I had 4 kids like come running up because they're not paying. Kids are in their little zone. Yeah. All they do is they stare at their little bucket full of their candies. They run up, they look up at me, and they're like, "Holy shit!" And then all of a sudden, the music hits hard, and they're like, and they go tearing ass down the street. I'm like, "There it is. I scared the shit out of a little kid. My job here is done." I felt so good about myself. That's Halloween, man.
We reused our tube from last year, and I think I might be a tube guy every year, man. I've got the 8-foot PVC pipe that I suspend from the ceiling and goes right down the stairs. Mimi's up there. She doesn't got to deal with slimy, sniffly kids. They don't go up the stairs and just shoot it down the tube. That might be on like one of those things since the pandemic. What has changed? Yeah, I don't hand any candy to kids, man. We shoot it right down the candy chute.
But how fun for the kids too. Like, here it comes. Right into the bag. I mean, that's kind of a neat little exercise to go through. No, Halloween, man. I love Halloween, but you're right. It's not going to be on Friday for like the next 5 or 6 years, the way the calendar works and shit. So yeah.
I remember this now during the pandemic. It was the week. Everything happened cool on a weekend during the pandemic when nobody was doing anything. And then just to top it off, do you remember? Said not only is Halloween on Friday or Saturday, either 2 years ago or I think 2 years. Not only is Halloween on Friday, but it was a full moon too.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, why? Everything cool. 4th of July weekend. Everything was on a weekend.
Yeah.
And it was just like all this stuff was aligning. It was great. I'm like, son of a bitch.
And you're sitting there picking at your toes, going, well, maybe next year we'll do something cool. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let me tighten my mask.
All right. So that's a Halloween recap. My next thing on my sheet here is, hey, Jason, you actually sound like a broadcaster today. What the fuck last week? That microphone that was picking your damn voice up, and I knew it the whole time I'm talking to you, and I didn't want to stop the show. I could tell what I was listening to was your dumb little low G, stupid microphone on your camera.
Yeah,
yes or no?
Up. Yeah, it was. It totally was. And I realized, like, you said something before we started. You're like, hey, your microphone sounds weird. I'm like, okay.
Dude, it doesn't sound right.
And I'm looking at my shit and all the lights are lighting up and I'm no engineer. You think all these years in radio, I fucking know how this stuff works. I have no idea. And I'm like, well, everything looks the same. And I'm looking and it sounds fine in my headphones. I'm like, okay, we're good to go. And you're like, I don't know. And then we started and I'm like, I'm just plowing through this thing like normal. And then as soon as I like edited everything down, as soon as I heard my first time I talked, I went, oh fuck, I'm going.
There was so much air sound, and it was just like a normal. It was like a normal person Zoom. You've got that nice fancy microphone over there. You should fucking learn how to use it.
Yeah. Well, no, I do. I think this week we should be fine. I know. As soon as I did, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm dead. I'm dead. If I text around and go, hey, I fucked up, he's gonna be like, fucking asshole. Either way, I was gonna lose.
I talked to you for an hour and a half like that. I knew exactly what I heard. That was the stupid microphone on your camera.
Yeah, we should have stopped it. But you know what? We get going. We forget what we're doing. We're just yapping, you know?
We are recording this on Wednesday night. It is November 3rd.
Yep.
Jason Ginty, have you run 3 10Ks this month?
I got 3 under my belt already, baby. 10K
How do you feel?
Every single day for the month of November. I feel fine, man. I feel fine. Yeah.
Because you trained for it. It's not like you just picked this up out of nowhere, but.
Oh, no, I want to make that very clear. This is not just me going, I think I can do this. No, I've been working this shit all summer, man. I know that November was coming and I just kept hammering away all summer trying to get in shape for it because I can run 6.2 miles. No problem. It's the cumulative effect as this month goes on my rickety ass old bones. Well, as we get to like the 15th, 16th, and further into the month, then I'm afraid that's when the trouble's going to start creeping in. You know. All right.
So stop right there. Just for people that don't know exactly what you're doing, tell everybody exactly what it is.
I'm running a 10K or 6.2 miles every single day in the month of November, November 1st.
Now, this is the second year that you're doing this, but you upped the stakes from last year.
Last year, I did 5K a day, which was 3.1.5 miles per day. And I felt pretty good until, like I said, like as the month dragged on, the cumulative effect of not having any rests in between the runs started to get me. And I just powered through it. You know, I thought, hey, I've been running a lot. Why don't I fucking double down like an idiot? So I did. So every morning I'm up and I'm running. And the reason I do it, I'm not raising money for charity, although I probably could. I probably should next year. I think I should.
Yeah, why not? A little more.
But I'm not doing it. I'm just doing it because at the end of the day, you know, dudes are dumb. And we've talked about this numerous times. And I know you talk about it on your radio show. I've talked about it ad nauseum on my radio show. Dudes are dumb. We don't go to the doctor. And a lot of times the shit you got is preventable or fixable. If you get the early detection, skin cancer, you know, all of it, man, anything, I just want to hit you over the head and go, just make that yearly doctor's appointment and go. And then if you decide to get a little inspired by watching my dumb videos every day that I post on my social media pages, just get up and take a walk. You don't have to run. Give it a walk. Like today I used for an example. I know a lot of guys, you know, will stop at gas stations on the way into work, get a coffee, pack of smokes, you know what I mean? Some beef jerky, you know, some chips for that afternoon, you know, some donuts. And I'm like, you know what? And a soda, you know what? Just pull the soda out of the equation for this week, for the whole week.
Smokes out.
well, I mean, obviously pull the smokes out first, but pull the soda out of the equation and get a water. Okay. Just for the week. I'm telling you, you're going to start feeling it different. And then the next week, pull out those fucking chips, put something else in it. You don't have to go nuts. You don't have to go cold turkey and quit all the bad habits. Pick one, start there. And it's all about creating new habits, which are hard to do, but you got to stick with it.
Here's what's a little bit challenging right now, we are going to be turning the clocks back. So daylight saving time.
Mm-hmm.
For years, and I don't let myself get caught up in it, but SAD, seasonal affective disorder, it's a real thing, man, where you start to get a little bit more sluggish. So I'm completely on board with what you're doing. I think it's awesome. You're trying to motivate people. You don't have to go, like he said, you don't have to be him and run a 10K every day, but stay active, stay busy, do something to just keep your motor going. Throw a little coal into the fire and get out there and try to burn some calories. Because it's going to start to get darker earlier.
Yep.
That's less time. Maybe you're not comfortable running at night. And if you're a chick listening to this show, even a dude, it's just not safe. So you got to kind of really get it in now in maybe a shorter light window. So it's important to stay positive because a lot of people get bummed out. That seasonal affective disorder, it's a real thing. I would talk about it. I would joke about it because I hate the turning of the clocks. I'm 100% against it. I would never run for any kind of an office, but that would be my only platform. It would be that and get rid of pulp and orange juice. And those would be the two things that I would run on.
It's pretty good.
But you got to still get it in because, and this is me, a lot of times when I'm talking on the air on this podcast, I'm saying it out loud so that I hear myself say it.
Yep.
I got to stay busy too. It's easy for me to start winding down at 5 o'clock. Okay. I mean, I go to bed at 9. So it's easy for me to say, okay, well, the day's kind of over. Fuck that. The day's not over. 5, 6. Now it's a little bit easier because I'm running around and I'm playing with my kid and, I'm getting her off to bed and, and we're doing a lot of activity. So we stay pretty active here, but it just is a thing for a lot of people that you start winding down a little more and maybe a little bit more couching and a little bit more surfing on the TV and a little bit more on your tablets and stuff. Just try to stay busy, so I'm with you 100%, brother. I love that you do this. I won't do it with you, but I will support you 100%.
And I'm not asking anybody to do it. And what's funny is like, look, I want to make it very clear to real runners, and there's real runners that probably listen. I'm not doing this to win any damn races. I'm not going to win any races. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm doing it just to improve each week, each month. I get a little better. I can run farther distances. I've been doing this for a while now. So I just keep improving the best I can. You get to a certain point where you get to a certain age and your athletic opportunities start to dwindle pretty quick. You know what I mean? So I want to keep rocking. I want to keep moving. I'm going to keep motivated for as long as I can. And I know that like when February comes, I don't know, it's February every year. I don't know why. I get that shit, man. I get all bummed out and I'm like moping around like a little bitch. And I just get
February?
Because
after the holidays?
I guess. I don't know. And it's like the short month and it's super dark and it's kind of miserable and just but I've got to force myself. And the key is movement is motivation. Get up and move. Get up and walk. Get outside. Get in the sunlight if you can. I know it's hard for a lot of people. You got jobs, you got kids, you got school, you got whatever. But man,
tough.
You got to find out. You got to scratch out that little bit of time for you to just get some kind of movement in your life. And I got a instant message here from Billy Matthias. Billy's in Houston. Okay, and I mentioned running 20 episodes back, right? And he said at the time, and this is a guy I finally dug it up. He goes, "Hey man, you should come to Houston and run the Houston Marathon. It runs right by Rod's house. We'll stop at his place and drink his beers and then we'll continue the marathon." I'm like, all right. I think we're missing the point on running the marathon, sitting around drinking beers, but I get the idea. So now he's hammering me. He goes, and he commented yesterday, he goes, "Hey man, how you feeling? Keep it going. Because I had mentioned I was going to run the marathon here in New Orleans in February." He goes, "Screw the February marathon, run the Chevron Houston Marathon coming up in January." He says, "Good luck. Keep it rocking." I'm like,
yeah. It sells out, dude. I've told you that before. It's a marathon here that you can't get in it after a certain point.
Right. I'm sure it's already sold out or something. So anyway, and I got another message from a couple of people already that they're like, "Hey man, I've been running for a long time. Yeah, the older you get, the harder it is, but you're not doing it to win races. You're doing it to just be out there." So, any exercise you can get. I don't want to harp on it because I'm doing it all fucking month, but you can follow me on my social media pages at Jason Ginty on Facebook and Instagram.
I am not doing No Shave November. I'm not doing Movember. If those are different, I don't know.
Yeah,
and I'm not doing No Nut November.
Wait, go back to the Movember thing real quick. That's
Okay.
where the inspiration for this kind of came from. Because that's why I do it November, because of Movember. Okay. Grow your mustache, haha, for men's health awareness.
Yes.
Well, how many buddies have you had or pictures have you seen of people like being all Ted Lasso with their mustache? And that's all they did. Hey, that's not helping.
Right.
Grow the mustache, call your doctor. There you go. Now cruise on. No Nut November. Yeah.
No Nut November. Have you heard this?
Yeah, I've heard this. That's stupid. I've already blasted. Never mind, but you get the idea. It's not going to happen.
I'm just saying, in the words of Cosmo Kramer in Seinfeld, I'm out. November 3rd. No Nut November. What's the matter with you? Who wants to get backed up like that?
Don't take away.
That's not even healthy. That can't be healthy.
Don't take the simple pleasures in life away, man.
Diana sends in an email to me about, well, a couple of things.
All right.
I'll just read the whole thing. It says, "Hey, Rod, my psycho sandwich," I'm going to have to explain this to you. "Hey, Rod, my psycho sandwich is plain white bread, peanut butter, bananas, and whipped cream. Slam it together. You are in heaven."
Jesus.
Some listener coined psycho sandwich because I said when I was young, we were talking today as we're recording this on Wednesday, the 3rd of November, it's National Sandwich Day.
Right.
So we talked a lot about sandwiches, and I said, okay, I'm gonna admit something. When we were kids, we would take white bread, we would put butter on it, and we would put sugar on it, and we would eat sandwiches. We would eat butter sugar sandwiches. Jesus. And some guy called in and said, "Oh my God, you unlocked something in the back of my brain. I forgot that we ate those." He goes, "I had that same psycho sandwich." So that became a thing. And then some guy called and talked about a tangwich. And I said, "Oh shit. If you don't think for a second that we grabbed white bread, butter, probably margarine in my house, and put tang on there and ate that." So the term was coined psycho sandwich. Okay. What is your weird, crazy invention that you ate? And I'll tell you what, people do some crazy shit. The craziest thing was some sort of stuff that was mixed with peanut butter that should have never, ever been mixed with peanut butter jalapeno peppers. There was peanut butter and mayonnaise. Peanut butter and mayonnaise together, peanut butter and Miracle Whip. People were trying to, sell me on these, and what we coined the term this morning, psycho sandwiches. So any psycho sandwiches in the Ginty's house? I mean, it could be just breaking up Doritos on your ham and cheese sandwich. I mean, it was just like little hacks that maybe you did in the house.
No, you know what? For a while there, I got on a kick. A buddy of mine says, "Hey, you got to try this." And I'm like, all right. Like I was a peanut butter and jelly kid. That's what I had. White bread, peanut butter and jelly. That's what we ate growing up for quite a bit. And my neighbor had that Fluffernutter, that marshmallow gooey shit.
Marshmallow fluff. You put it with the peanut butter. Killer.
Fucking great. Well, think about it right now. I want to go throw up because it sounds so disgusting. But we would take the peanut butter and the fluff, right? Because it's all that mushy marshmallow. And then you just take, if you had some good cereal up in the cupboard, you had Captain Crunch, and you put that in the marshmallow. It's like eating an ice cream cone, man. It was so fucking good. But that's not like weird pickles and peanut butter shit. I never got into that kind of thing. Chips on like cheeseburgers. I know it's not that big of a weird thing anymore, but I know like putting a fried egg on a cheeseburger seemed bizarre at first, but now I like it, or I did like it.
I mean, Anthony Bourdain and all those the kitchen types, and they go out and eat. There's always some runny fucking egg on top of a BLT or something. It's the grossest thing I've ever seen. Now, I have a problem with eggs. So, and I also said friend off anybody that eats egg salad sandwiches.
Oh,
fucking, I don't have room for you in my life. Okay, with your stinky egg salad sandwiches.
No, they're gross. It'll ruin a house for a week, man. It's like someone cooking fish in the microwave at work. You know what? Go fuck yourself and your fish, man. We don't need that in our workplace. It's bullshit.
Right here, grilled cheese with crunchy peanut butter and bread and butter pickles. I'm just looking at our Facebook page this morning.
That's kind of gross. Yeah.
Mustard sandwiches, mustard and bread. That's it. That was their psycho sandwich.
Poor folks sandwich right there, man. Holy shit.
My dad's was deli ham, crunchy peanut butter, and Del Dixie pickles on toast. PB and mayo was very big, dude. Everyone, and then when they eat it, they try to like sell you on it. Like, it's better than you think. You really got to try this. I was in the Marines. I ate this in the field. I'm like, listen, thank you for serving, but fuck. No. Why are you eating that together?
Eat the MREs instead. Holy shit. That sounds terrible.
Yeah. Eggs, peanut butter. There was some psycho sandwiches. That's not her email. So I didn't mean to get off track.
That's cool though, man. That's fucking. Oof.
We coined a new term today, psycho sandwiches.
I like it.
She goes on to say, I'm all caught up with the Play Pants podcast, and I may have missed it, but did you and Jason ever live together? I know you've worked together for a long time. I know you've been friends forever, but we all know living with someone is another beast. Just curious, loving the talk between you two. Keep it up, and I'll be ready for a new one to listen to this weekend, Diana. Well, Diana, thank you very much. I appreciate the email. And by the way, get back to your psycho sandwich. That's a great combination. Peanut butter, bananas, and whipped cream. I make that for my kid. I don't slap it between bread, but I mix those up together. Yeah. And I give that as a treat for my kid. So I never thought about putting that on a sandwich.
Works.
Jason and I have lived together several times.
It's funny when she said that. The one time I remember vividly. I mean, we've had some crazy houses, and we've ruined them. I mean,
have we not talked about that on the podcast at all? That we lived together.
We fucking ruined houses, man. But I'll never forget. Yeah. You were coming back from Albany, right? You were coming back to do mornings, and you're like, "Hey, dude, you want to freaking shack up again?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, I'm not going to have time to go look at a place, and I just want to get in and get going. He goes, you know where to fucking go. I'm like, no, I don't. He goes, just find a place and tell me what you think. And I'm like, okay. And then we ended up finding that place. I drove by the place because there's like, this is when we're talking newspaper ads. And I go, I don't know. It's one story. It's got a carport. It's got a driveway. It's got 2 bedrooms. It's got this. It's got that. And I looked in the front window, and it had like terrazzo floors.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And on the floor, it had this kick-ass like fucking star in the terrazzo. And I go, I don't know, dude. It looks pretty cool, but it's got a badass star right on the floor. He goes, take it.
Get it.
He goes, get it. I go, okay. So we did.
I forgot about that house, but that house was legendary. The parties there. So I think we lived together 3 separate times.
Holy shit.
3 separate occasions we lived together.
Well,
right?
We had the first place just a fucking bunker.
There was the first place in New Orleans in Metairie when you and I both moved down to New Orleans.
Yep.
And then the problem was, Jason took off and I stayed, and then Jason came back, and then I left and then came back. So there was a lot of this going back and forth, but we always, anytime that we were both in New Orleans at the same time, somehow we found a way to kind of live together.
Because we're fucking cheap. We know that if we split the rent, we both had more money for booze and fucking off. That's why.
Right.
It actually made sense.
Because there was there was 2 houses that we rented together, and then there was only one duplex kind of place that I feel was kind of short-lived, but we did live above like this old lady or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to just be the loudest idiots. I mean, you don't want us to live above you, but we were fortunate because the other 2 times we just rented a house because we knew we were going to trash it. We knew we knew that it was going to be late night stuff, and why even get into an apartment situation when you're going to get booted? So we rented houses and lived in them and trashed them.
Had parties and just
parties though, like parties.
We're working at radio stations at the time, and you're doing afternoons, and I'm doing fucking other shit or nights, and it's like we're coming and going. We're passing in the hallway. Hey, dude. Hey, what's up? All right, cool. Bye. See you. And then there's fucking, there's random strangers walking through from time to time. I mean, it's like always some shit in those houses, but yeah, no, it was fucking, dude. I mean, holy shit. Yeah, we lived together, and then you bought a house. And I'm like,
we lived together 4 separate times.
Yeah,
because you lived in my house.
you bought a house, and you're like, and I'm like, I don't know if I was like, hey, you got an extra bedroom, or you approached me and you're like,
I 100% asked you, and I just said, dude, I'm buying a house. I go, it's just me. You want to live there? You're like, yeah, I guess.
It was great because I got a place. Again, I'm paying half your mortgage, so it actually worked out great. You're not having to punch up as much money. I'm getting a place, a great place, fucking pool in that place. I hope that those walls don't ever talk. Jesus.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know what's going on in the backyard. We had a pool in that one. That was bad and great and bad.
That was good. But I want to mention one party that we had. And
don't.
So
Don't.
It was the house that Jason, that he rented that I didn't even see. I was just coming back and he found the house. So we had this party and it was called Tiki 2K. And so Jason did a song and all this production for it. The invitation was on a cassette. Okay. You had to get a cassette from one of us. He dubbed 30, 40 cassettes. And that was your invitation. And he did it to the Hawaii 5-0.
Oh, yeah.
Tiki 2K, Tiki 2K.
I forgot about that. I hope I have that somewhere.
So we had this party in the back. I mean, there's just we're not thinking about neighbors at all. I mean, it's just such a blur. We're living in such a bubble. The worst fucking people on the block, us, don't care about anything. Loud, cars everywhere, people passed out in front yards everywhere. The cops show up. And the first thing, I don't remember who it was, but they said, "Oh man, it was a female police officer. She was attractive. Hey, the strippers here." They just assumed that we were getting strippers.
Yeah.
And it was a real NOPD that was coming to, and they didn't bust the party. They just said, "You've got to turn everything down." That's cool. Back. We what time is your shift over? Everyone's hitting on her, the whole deal. It was the best. We're just like, okay, she realized it was a great party. I'm not kicking you guys out, but you gotta be quiet. You just have to be quiet, or it just take half of the people and move it indoors. So Jason and I lived together four times, 4 separate individual times.
And the parties we would throw, we would never just go, "Hey, cruise over." I mean, we would do that a lot. Cruise over, we'll party, But then when we put these extravagant ones on, I mean, we would bring in, I'm like, you'd find a buddy, you're like, "Hey, you know how to bartend, right?" "Yeah, cool."
We had a bartender.
Put a tip jar up and everybody tipped the bartender and you're good to go. It's going to be great. And you're going to make money. And the fucking dude made all kinds of money that night. I mean, yeah. We
parties
probably shouldn't have done half of those things. But you know what? Those are the things that you just kind of go, "Holy shit, I can't believe we pulled it off."
Our first house. I mean, every time there was some sort of a get together, there was 6 people on the roof of that house by 11:30 every night. For some reason, we wanted to have beers on the roof.
Yeah, it was cool as shit because it was a basically flat roofed with a small peak, and we had
a weird house. It was like a bunker. We called it a bunker.
We acquired a ladder one night out drinking. And we put that around the back of the house so we could just climb up it anytime we wanted to, go up there. We'd bring lawn chairs up there and we'd chill on the roof. And we'd watch.
You want to go have a beer on the roof? Sure.
Yeah,
it made sense.
It just was a different angle. A roof gives you a different perspective. I don't really think it's a good idea.
But that makes it louder because these voices boom. And now you're on a roof and there's really nothing. It was just a way to be louder.
And you know what? We're both pretty damn loud when we talk. So I mean, we didn't get kicked out of every house blows my mind. Oh, wait, here's one for you.
Oh boy.
We were moving from the house with the star on the floor. Okay. We're leaving there. And you had found these guys to come move us, right?
Okay. This is when I bought a house and we moved into the house that I purchased.
That's what it was.
Okay.
And you found these guys. You're like, "Oh, I got these movers coming over." I'm like, "All right, we got to make sure our shit's packed."
They fucking ripped me off. They were drunk. They were homeless people that they put T-shirts on.
They were the worst. They were the fucking worst. But I remember them. And dude, if I'm lying, I'm dying. It was the funniest thing I ever saw in my life, man. Like, we're all helping. Like, me and you are, okay, let's get Ginty's room. We'll pull all my shit out of there and they load it on the truck, right? And then we'll go to your room. We're picking all the shit up. We had everything basically packed anyway. It was ready to go. We pick up And there's all these old.
I just realized what story you're telling, dude.
We picked up all your shit, right? We're all in there, right? All a bunch of dudes, and me and you were just pissed off. We're just.
I'm gonna go and get something to drink. You can finish the story. I don't want to sit through it.
Fucking, we lived with the mattress, and I'll explain the fairness of it all, okay? And what do we see under the bed? There's a fucking penis pump.
A penis pump was in my house underneath my bed. As I walked in my room, they had just picked up the box spring.
We're fucking standing around it like we're watching a fire burn.
And they're looking at it like they stopped dead in their tracks and they're looking at this penis pump. And I just went, well, that's what you think it is. All right, fellas, I'll grab this. You don't have to pick this up. I'll grab this. So I just went over there and I picked up the penis pump and then boom, and I left and that was it. Now, I'm sure those guys talked about it. I didn't discuss it with them, but here we are about 20 years later talking about it. So great.
But in all fairness, it was something I think we were giving it away in the morning show or something. So you thought, well, hey, if I'm going to talk about this, we always like to test our products out before we talk about them on the air. Hey, no harm, no foul.
We used to do interviews every day and there was just crazy products, crazy people, crazy everything. Radio was a little bit different. And yeah, it was this penis pump that we were giving away. So somebody had to try it. I said, okay, well, whatever, I'll take it home. So I could never get a seal. I couldn't get it to seal, meaning I don't know that it was very generous. It was very girthy. And it just, I went in there and I'm like, am I supposed to, is it the air supposed to be sealed off here somewhere? I didn't come close to filling that thing out.
Well, that's the job of the pump is to make it bigger, right?
But I couldn't create a vacuum at the base. It was like a Pringle can, dude. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Maybe you needed like the training wheel version, the smaller, the little guy.
I'm tucking my balls in there and everything. And I'm like, I can't get this thing to seal. So I threw it under the bed and it was probably under there for a couple of months. I know people are going to say that, oh, you used it every night. I would tell you if I did, but obviously I forgot it was there. Moving day, I don't know that it's under there. And yeah, movers saw it.
Dude, we're standing around. We're just stunned. We're all standing there. Nobody's saying a fucking word. Nobody's moving. You couldn't
come up with something on the spot that, okay, I know what it looks like, but this is what it really is. I'm like, that's a fucking penis pump. That's under my bed.
Sometimes you just got to fall on the penis pump. You know what I mean? It's like,
and then they're all looking at it. I'm like, I got this one, guys. They didn't want to pick it up. All right. Well, good times. That was a good story.
That was a nice email. That was a great email right there. I like that. Psycho
Diana, lose my email. Thank you.
I hope that answers some questions.
She asked, did you guys ever live together? Yes. Moving on.
That would have been an easier answer. I didn't
know it was going to be story time.
The fact that we fucking said yes to renting a house because I saw a cool star, on the floor, embedded in the floor, and you went, yeah, dude, get it. That shows you how our mentality was at the time. Okay, you don't rent a house with that being your only criteria.
But it was terrazzo floors, and people are going, well, what is terrazzo floors? Whatever was on the floor of your grade school. That's your terrazzo floor.
but we also knew it was indestructible. We couldn't fuck it up. And that's why we really took it. Because we knew we would trash. There'd be beers everywhere. And
all the places we lived in were all built in the 60s or so. I mean, they were all old places, but they were homes though. All right. We're going to take a break. But first, I sent it over. Tommy Thayer, who has been in Kiss for a long, long time. He's the lead guitar player of Kiss. He turned 61. So what would you care about Tommy Thayer? Not really much. I mean, Kiss is in the news. It is a little weird. Dude, did you see they canceled their residency in Vegas?
Well, I've read two different things about it. Because one of their guitar techs or somebody in the roadies passed away from COVID. But then also I heard it was like not really good ticket sales. So I don't know which one to believe.
I think, well, I'll tell you which one to believe. This is very easy. I can clear this up for you immediately. Yeah, one of their longtime techs passed away. So I'm sure they're devastated, and that's nothing to joke about.
No.
So if they want to put some sort of a spin like, hey, we're not really feeling good about this, and and we're going to come off the road because of safety measures, we're getting old. No, they're on a fucking cruise right now. Okay. Right. There's a Kiss cruise that you want to talk about the filthiest place you could possibly be. It's on a cruise ship. So that's not why. It's soft ticket sales. And, Kiss is just coming to the end of their run. And I think they think they're the Rolling Stones, and they're not. And Rolling Stones don't play as much. They just don't constantly, continually tour. And Kiss does. And they're doing the exact same show, I think, for about the last 10 years. Right. So I think people are letting them know it's time before they say it's time, even though they said this is the last go around. They're trying to add everything they can on there. And it's the fans kind of telling them, that's you don't need to do a residency. We're not coming to see you. We're not traveling. No. Okay. So Tommy Thayer is the guitar player. He's in the Ace Frehley makeup. So enough Kiss, unless somebody winds up on your list.
Right.
I want the best / favorite replacement musicians. Shut up, Sammy Hagar. I know what you're going to say. No lead singers.
No lead singers. That's hard.
No lead singers, because, you just start rifling off Bon Scott or Brian Johnson. You talk about these replacements. It's so easy to do the singers because it's just 5 off the top of my head. No, we're not doing that. Replacement, any other band member. It could be a replacement keyboard player, Jason Ginty. Okay. It could be the flautist of the band, of your favorite band. I don't care, but they cannot be the lead singer. That was my only criteria here. We're going to get into that. So I think we should just take a quick break, and this break might be quicker than ever.
Okay, here we go. Lucky's Pub West. I know where it is. I know what they got, but I got nothing to talk about. Rod, you want to fill me in a little on what's up with Lucky's?
It might not be open ever again.
What?
I think that's it. I think we're done over there.
Really?
Yeah, we were waiting for the World Series. Everyone knows that the Astros are not in it. As a bar owner, I can tell you want every series to go 7 games because it brings people in and all of that. I think we had our run. I think we did the best we could after COVID, and it's just one of those where it's like, I think that's it. We had our run. I'll tell you right now, the bar business is very, very tough. And you don't cry for me. It's nothing like that at all. As a matter of fact, hey, we closed the doors. I did it. I got it out of my system. I always thought it would be cool to own a bar. That feeling lasted about the first month that I owned a bar. And then it was just like, okay, you know what was I thinking? But you know what? I mean, I have a great partner in Anthony, and Lucky's was the right thing to do. The sad thing for Houston is there are zero. Again, whenever you're listening to this podcast, just please look at social media to see if we're still open. There may be some fire sales and stuff like that, but I can tell you that the World Series is over. It's looking like we're going to be closing the doors over there. So maybe we'll put together some kind of I don't have anything right now as far as like a final big blowout party. It would kind of be nice to just, open up the taps and let's clean the place out and have a good time. So maybe listen for one of those, but I think that's going to be it. The sad thing, like I was saying for Houston, is if and when Lucky's Pub West goes down, there are no Lucky's Pubs in Houston. At one point, there were 3, and one of them, the one downtown, was the biggest, most successful bar in the city. I mean, it was the place. That's where we did St. Patrick's Day. All of our live broadcasts, everything was at Lucky's Pub downtown. So I can tell you that my partner, Anthony, who owns Lucky's and the franchise and all that, he doesn't want the city to be without Lucky's. So I'll leave it at that. Will I jump back in? It remains to be seen. We'll see. So there's your Lucky's. That's our Lucky's commercial.
Shit. I'm kind of bummed that you're not going to have your place and stuff, but
we need a sponsor.
We just lost a damn sponsor, dude. I'm kind of more concerned about that.
We lost a free sponsor of the podcast that we got no money out of.
But, you know, and if you don't want to talk about this, I get it. But
I'll talk about anything. I really will.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember when you said you're going to do this. This was years ago. You're like, hey man, I'm thinking of doing this. I'm like, you sure? And that's usually all you're going to get out of me. You sure? I'm not going to. I don't want to shit on anybody's dreams, right? I never want to be that guy. I want to try and be supportive. And if I don't know anything about it, I'm just going to go, you sure? And you're like, yeah. And then you started laying out, here's what's going to happen. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm like, well, and you told me, you're like, I've always wanted to own a bar. And I go, well, then go own a bar. You know what I mean? Like, you did it. You should look at that as like, hey man, I fucking did something I set out to do.
100%. And I wouldn't want to go in with a group. I wouldn't want to go. It was Anthony and I. Anthony was the primary. He's the brains behind Lucky's. Now, these other Lucky's locations, there were 10, 15 owners at some of them. It's like, that's not how I do it. You know what? It's like you and I, let's do this. So, I got to go in on my own terms. I got to go in. We did it. We used the place for great promotions. We had, the meat raffles that we did and the parties and the senior skip day that morphed into ditch day. And, I was able to do things at my own bar. And you're thinking, well, listen, isn't that a little weird? It's like kind of your thing. Is that? I'm like, no, it's not. It was the perfect room for it. Right. Tell me a better place to have a meat raffle and I'll do it because I still have the wheel. I have the tickets. I have the investment that I made in doing that promotion. Tell me a better place to do it. Okay. And I'm not going to Cleveland, Texas, to your VFW hall. It's not happening. Okay. But tell me a place where a lot of people centrally located can gather. I'll do it. Tell me where we can do ditch day and some of these other promotions. So yeah, I was able to feed promotions into my bar. And I told my bosses too, I went to them and I said, listen, I'm going to open a bar. And they're like, okay. And I said, I'm just not going to abuse it. I go, you know me, you know who I am. I'm not going to sit around and fucking talk about my bar all day or all morning when I'm on the air, because then it gets a little skeezy. Did I mention the bar? Did we talk about it? Of course we did. But I never just sat around and talked about my bar. We did promotions there. And then, we just did the car show. Perfect. Where can I do that? Where can I do that? I will do that stuff. I want to continue to obviously do those types of things. Find me a room like that. The thing that was great about the bar was the thing that killed it. It was 10,000 square feet, big place, had a stage, awesome. But Monday through Thursday, and Sunday when it's not football season, if you have 50 people in that bar, it looks dead. It's too big. Yeah, it's too big, but it was perfect for the big events that we did, and we packed it. And that was great. It's just, you can't get an audience that size in there all the time. No. And it's just, I learned a lot. You know what I mean? I learned a lot and I got it out of my system. And I think I did get it out of my system. The next time I come to you, Jason, and I say, hey, I'm thinking about getting back into the bar business. I need you to get on the first flight here and I need you to kick me in the dick.
No, I'll just go, hey, you sure? Well, but if I kick you, your penis pump will still be attached probably, so it ain't going to hurt. Oh, you knew that was coming back around.
A penis pump was about this. If you're watching the YouTube, it was this big around, and I'm like, how is this going to seal on anything? All right. Jason.
Oh, shit.
There's our Lucky's commercial, maybe our last Lucky's commercial.
Damn it. So, hey, wait. So anyone who would love to sponsor this, awesome. And we get a lot of downloads, man. This ain't no joke anymore. We get a lot of downloads. This is a pretty popular podcast. We're not in the upper echelon just yet. But if you want to sponsor, man, you got to call somebody. I don't know who. It ain't me. It ain't you. we gotta find people that work for us or something for free. Anyway, you want to sponsor this?
We'll get a Play Pants sales staff.
Not just yet, Rod. Hopefully soon. We'll see what happens.
All right. Let's talk about this. Now, we always escape scrutiny when we do our lists because we say our favorites.
Right.
So it's not like the best. It's always our favorites, things that interesting to us. We know that this is the greatest whatever of all time, but it's not personally my favorite when we do these lists. So I kind of approach this the same way. Yeah. And things that I thought were great replacements. amazing band replacements. My only criteria for Jason Ginty was no lead singers.
No, because
The
then you
best
just
band replacements of all time. Your favorite band replacements of all time.
this is a tough putt because I was trying to figure out, okay, well, do I care? You know, did I know the first guy? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that going on. But then I realized when I did a little research, I'm like, oh, this guy replaced this guy. Then the band got popular and took off too. There's a lot of that going on here. So it's like, oh,
yes, sir.
Man. You know, and you know, I looked at like Eric Carr replacing Peter Criss. I'm like, okay. A lot of people thought Eric Carr was a much better drum technically and all that stuff. And
not a lot of people. Every person on the planet. He was a far superior drummer, but he wasn't the cat. You know, he wasn't the cat. He was the fox.
Yep.
The cat was the cat. Going back to now, I'm not going to say that Tommy Thayer is a better guitar player than Ace Frehley. I'm just going to tell you, I don't have any Kiss on my list. Eric Carr is a great thing that you brought up because the band got better.
Yep.
But the songs weren't better. No. They weren't the stuff they did with Peter Criss was way better, but the band technically got better, a lot better with you know, having a different drummer in there.
Right.
Nobody's going to argue about, you know, who's a better drummer for sure.
I want to throw that one out there just because that kind of gives an example. You know what I mean? Like just, you know, and that was kind of like on my bubbling under, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I had? And this isn't a favorite, but it's like, okay.
Wait a minute. Are you going into your list right now?
Fuck yeah, I'm going first. Is
this number 5?
It can be. Yeah. I didn't really put them in an order. It's kind of weird because it's just such a weird thing. But I mean, forget the fact for the fucking 29 episodes before this, we've done something called a top 5. I know. Okay. Number 5. Let me mark it down. God damn it. Man, you bring up one penis pump story, you get all uppity on me, man.
I was not ready for that. I was flat out not ready for that.
Yeah. Well, the what I thought was interesting was the Yardbirds. You got to go way the fuck back into the Yardbirds.
Okay.
You start out with Jeff Beck in the Yardbirds, and you start off with Clapton in the Yardbirds. Then Jeff Beck replaces Clapton. Then Jimmy Page replaces Jeff Beck, and then it becomes the new Yardbirds, and then it becomes Led Zeppelin. So whatever the fuck was going on with the Yardbirds, and I'm not really an expert on that band, they didn't have a problem finding really amazing guitar players.
Yeah, it's incredible that you just mentioned those 3 guitar players like being in the same band, but not at the same time.
Like,
that's
what the hell?
Amazing. Who's doing the recruiting in the Yardbirds?
And I don't know shit. I probably should have looked up. I like some of their songs. I couldn't tell you who the singer is and none of it. I don't know anything, but I don't care. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. So I'll put that at number 5. What the hell?
Okay.
You know, when you go back to the early days of Metallica, it was fucking Dave Mustaine playing guitar. Kirk Hammett comes in and, you know, has been pretty popular ever since. And Dave was only in there for a minute. You know, he wasn't in there for very long. But Kirk Hammett replaced Dave Mustaine, who went on to do Megadeth. So that's a pretty big replacement.
Huge replacement.
A big fucking replacement. Now, I like some Megadeth stuff. I'm not saying, you know, but I thought that was an interesting replacement. I had forgotten about that one. Here's a good one at number 3, I guess. I'll put a fucking 3 next to it.
What a dick.
Blink-182. And this is wild, especially being topical nowadays. Blink-182 original drummer was Scott Rayner. They kicked his ass out to the fact that he was all hopped up on booze all the time. They recruited Travis fucking Barker. And then, of course, the band really took off. They had a gig. They had like an hour. The legend goes that they had like an hour before a gig. And they said, here's a bunch of fucking songs, Travis, go learn them. And he did before the gig and he killed it. They went, you're our guy. You're staying in the band. And that's how Travis Barker got in there. And now he's banging one of the Kardashian girls. Pretty good gig.
And and think about it, they've gone out on tour and they've got this guy named Matt Skiba who's doing the singing right now. And I always put Alex on the spot on the show. Blink-182 is one of his favorite bands. And, you know, Mark Hoppus is going through, he's actually cancer-free now, which is great. Yeah. I think Blink-182 will get back together. And I ask Alex, I'm like, is that what your goal is? He's like, man, I feel bad about Matt Skiba. He's been doing such a good job. I'm like, It's not Blink-182 though. don't you want the original lineup? He's like, yeah, but boy, Matt Skiba's really doing a good job. I couldn't believe my ears. I just assumed that he wanted the classic trio back together. I think most people do. And again, I do think they will get back. But Matt Skiba is doing a hell of a job, apparently, singing.
That's very cool. Number 2, and we've talked about this band a lot recently, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Chad Smith was not the original drummer. I think they had like Jack Irons for a while, and then they had a bunch of drummers for a while, and then Chad Smith, obviously. And then, of course, John Frusciante, when he replaced the guy who died, what's his name? Hillel, or I can't say
Slovak. Hillel Slovak.
Yeah. Obviously that blasted the band into the stratosphere. Every time Frusciante's back in the band, they always put out a better album. So that's a great one at number 2. And number 1, I mean, this is just silly. It has to be number 1, at least in my mind. There's a guy named Chad Channing who was the drummer in Nirvana before Dave Grohl. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Dave Grohl replaced. Yeah. And I think we know how that worked out, because now Dave Grohl is a member a second time in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They just went in over the weekend, and the ceremony will be on HBO in November. I can't wait to watch that, by the way. So yeah, that's a huge musical replacement right there. And I had another one, but I'm gonna wait till you do yours.
Okay.
Because I don't want to ruin in case you got this. I'd be surprised if you do.
A lot of drummers. I was drummer heavy, and I don't think I was doing it on purpose.
Oh, you're right.
The stuff that like even was bubbling under. I had a lot of drummers here.
It's because they're kind of like, without a good drummer, your band's gonna be shit. You know what I mean? Like, you need that drummer to kind of lay the groundwork,
correct,
keep it together.
Like bubbling under Uncle Jesse in the Beach Boys. Like, let's be serious. Let's be serious. That should be number 1 on everybody's list. The ultimate band replacement non-lead singer is Uncle Jesse playing for the Beach Boys, right?
That's weird. Not number Uncle 1. Jesse from the Dukes of Hazzard, Uncle Jesse from Full House.
Uncle Jesse from Full House.
Okay, I want to make sure, because there's some guy a Dukes of Hazzard fan going, fucking guy's still alive?
All right, here we go.
All right.
So in at number 5, Kirk Hammett replacing Dave Mustaine.
Okay, there we go.
Metallica.
Very good.
You're right. Super early on, and some kind of monster. If you listen to this podcast, should be a mandatory documentary that you watch, because they are just with a shrink and everything. And Dave Mustaine really feels like, what the fuck, man? My life could have been totally different. He's pretty honest about it. He's like, my life could have been totally different. He kind of realizes that he was a dick, but he kind of thinks those guys were dicks for kicking him out. Never really got over it, but kind of got over it. Kirk Hammett, though, phenomenal guitar player, and he made big changes in that band. He was a major game changer for Metallica.
But you got to think, I mean, how old were those guys when Dave got kicked out? I mean, were they
were kids.
22?
They had pimples on their face.
You look back at that time period. I didn't know shit at 21. I was picking out houses with stars on the floors. You know what I mean? Like, you're not smart at that age. You're just not smart. And then, at the end of the day, sure, Dave Mustaine didn't have Metallica success, and he would have just been one of the players in Metallica. He went on to form Megadeth, and he is Megadeth. You know what I mean? So he got to do what he wanted. I mean, I don't know how bummed he should really be in that way.
For 1/32 of the money, it just,
true.
You can't compare the two. And I think he realized this, damn, I wish I wasn't such a dick, but we were all young. You're right. You bring up a great point. They were so unbelievably young, but Metallica and him, they wanted to part ways. They're like, listen, we're going in this direction. We don't want what you have going on and the vibe that you're bringing to the band. We don't want that. And Kirk Hammett really won the lottery, big time. Yeah. In at number 4, John Frusciante.
There you go.
He's been in the band, like Jason and I lived together 4 times. John Frusciante has been in the band 3 separate times, but he was the original replacement guitar player, and he came on during Mother's Milk.
Yep.
And what he did to that band, he took him to the next level. He's a genius. I'm liking him more and more. I mean, I've got my relationship like you do with classic rock. Red Hot Chili Peppers are way overplayed in my format.
Yep.
And you just tend to kind of like, I like the fact that we did the Chili Pepper list because it did get me going and listening to some other things. But John Frusciante and the word genius go hand in hand. He's that talented. He really is. He's a musician's musician. He doesn't care about the fame. You look at him, he looks like a homeless person. He's certainly not spending money on haircuts and clothing. But when you see him play guitar, and if you haven't seen the Chili Peppers live with him, God, he's good. He's he's an amazing guitar player. You know, he's cleaned up. He's ready to rock now. And I think he's more focused than ever. Chad Smith's a great drummer. Chad Smith, the thing about Chad coming into the band is Chad Smith was like a rock guy. And those guys were like funk. I mean, they were Fishbone. They were basically Fishbone. And Chad had to kind of fake all that funk and I'm going to be crazy. And okay, I guess you want me to put a sock on my dick. Okay, I'll do it because I want the gig. He was a rock guy. Great drummer.
Yeah.
Not as game-changing as John Frusciante. Just unbelievable. I can't say enough about him. That's my number 4. My number 3, I can't believe I'm using a band twice, but my favorite bass player is Robert Trujillo.
Oh, shit.
The current bass player of Metallica.
It definitely went up.
He's been in the band longer than the other 2 guys combined. Okay. And I know that Cliff Burton was the smart guy in the band. He was the guy that was trained musician. He knew the music theory and everything. I'm sorry. He doesn't hold a candle to Robert Trujillo. It is insane how great that guy is at the bass. And I love Jason Newsted. I thought Jason came into a very tough situation.
Yep.
And because if Robert wasn't so fucking great, Jason Newsted, you had to take over for an original member that everybody loved, Cliff Burton.
Yep. And
I thought he handled it great. And he's a really good bass player. Robert Trujillo is next level. Robert Trujillo is just he's my favorite bass player, but he's just a virtuoso on the bass.
And live, holy shit, he prowls the stage and he
slithers around.
Yes, he's so great. You're trying to watch Lars, you're trying to watch the rest of the band, you're trying to watch James because he's singing, but then every time you start doing that, you're like, what the fuck's going on over here? What the hell's he doing? Because it's so great what he's doing all over the stage. He's like Spider-Man, just creeping around. It's fucking awesome.
And if you're questioning how good this guy is, maybe the greatest bass player of all time, and I think even Billy Sheehan would tell you it's Jaco Pastorius. All right, and this is jazz fusion-y weird stuff.
Right.
But this guy was just this he was the Beethoven of the bass. And it's Robert Trujillo's idol. He has one of his basses.
Wow.
And go look up Robert Trujillo playing the flamenco guitar. Like Charo. He's got a million fingers running over a million strings, and he's so talented. He's so great. He's in at my number 3. My number 2, I didn't want to be so damn obvious. I put Dave Grohl in at number 2.
Nice.
But I like where I have Dave Grohl, and for all the reasons that you said. I mean, then I started thinking about the impact that these people are having on the bands that they're in. Nobody's going to deny that Dave Grohl made Nirvana better. Okay. I mean, he really made them way better, but Kurt had those songs. Those were Kurt's songs.
Yep.
Nevermind was happening. And, Dave will tell you that the drumming, Dave's a great drummer. Okay. Any one of you guys, I could teach you any one of the songs. You would just have to keep up with the endurance of maybe the speed of some of them, but any one of you guys could play the whole album on the drums. It's very easy. It's very remedial, but but it works. He wanted to let the music breathe. And so I don't know if that was fully his decision, but of course he made the band better. And it's just, how can he not put Dave Grohl on a list? Because he wasn't originally in the band.
Right.
Number 1. You know who John Rutsey is?
Yeah.
Name John Rutsey.
Okay. Yeah.
They call him a working man. He was the drummer on the first Rush album.
That's where I knew it. Yes. And then that drummy guy came in.
He's the drummer. I'm sorry I went so drum heavy.
I forgot.
And
about
you know,
that.
and Uncle Jesse from the Beach, you know, and the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
But Neil Peart, there's no denying.
Yeah.
When you take out of account lead singers, because lead singers have been game changers for bands, we know that. What Neil Peart brought to Rush cannot be understated. You don't even want to talk about it. It just happened. Okay, he wrote all the lyrics.
Yeah.
I mean, he made the band smarter just because he was the professor. He just did things for that band that it's hard to even quantify.
Rush would have been
the greatest replacement of all time.
You go back and you listen to Working Man, which I love that song. Okay.
The album's great. I love that first Rush album.
It's a rock album.
It's a bluesy rock album. Yeah. It's none of the syncopated, the timing, the things. He just took everybody to the next level. They needed him. He needed them. They needed him. Yeah. It was perfect. He's the greatest replacement of all time. I'm sure there's two people out there that didn't know that Neil Peart wasn't the original drummer. Most people kind of know that he wasn't on that first album. Correct.
Yeah, no, he's a game changer. You know who I thought was kind of a game changer in a way was Joe Walsh in the Eagles replacing, what's his name? Bernie Layden, whatever. The original.
I never knew the guy. I knew that he wasn't an original guy. I knew he kind of came in and hung out. And
but Walsh really kind of changed the band, and that's when they started hitting another level with the band because he was a little rougher around the edges and shit. But I mean, I don't give a shit about the Eagles, but I just want to throw that out there that Joe Walsh, when he was in the Eagles, they were right. Better. You know, they were better. And then, dude, I was digging around in my research, and I don't know, maybe you knew this, but I didn't know this. Okay, and it's not that big. It's not earth shattering. Okay, Alice in Chains. Let's go back. Okay. And this is going down the singer road. And I kind of went down that way because I was curious. But Lane Staley passes away, okay, from the heroin overdose and all his drug issues, okay? And then Cantrell goes out to some solo albums. And then Alice in Chains, for everyone's thought process, was gone. That's it. No Lane Staley, no Alice in Chains. Well, they end up bringing this guy, William Duvall, who's currently still in the band. And he's amazing. He sounds like Lane. You see him live. They're fucking great. All the harmonies with Jerry Cantrell is great. I didn't know this. Remember the band Sponge? They had a song, a couple of hits called Plowed and Molly.
Yeah.
Vinny Dombrowski.
Vin E, lead singer. Yeah, I remember Sponge very well.
Yeah. He tried out for Alice in Chains. Vinny Dombrowski from Sponge, and Scott Weiland apparently was in talks. I don't know if you've tried out, but Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots.
Wow.
There was discussions about Alice in Chains, but they went with this guy, the William Duvall.
Willem Duvall. William Duvall. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so anyway, I thought that was interesting. I had no idea, because when Velvet Revolver was going and digging up singers to try, and they ended up with Scott Weiland, there was a million guys that were going out and trying out, but you didn't really hear shit about Alice in Chains. I had no idea that Vinny fucking Dombrowski. Is that the coolest name ever?
Well, here they come. So Ringo Starr was not the original drummer of the Beatles.
Yeah.
All right. I think everybody kind of knows Pete best at this point. I kept him off my list on purpose.
That's a tough one.
But I'm gonna mention it. The other one that I'm gonna mention, because I had all these drummers like Matt Cameron.
Oh yeah,
Matt Cameron has been in Pearl Jam longer than he was in Soundgarden, but he's the Soundgarden drummer. He's the guy that did all the crazy fucking off time stuff, because the original drummer of Soundgarden was Chris Cornell.
Yep.
So they get Matt Cameron, who's just the best guy around. He's the best drummer in Seattle, and they landed him. They're like, hey, okay, we want Chris. Chris is going to be the front man. The weirdest thing is that after Soundgarden breaks up, Pearl Jam always had this round robin. Jack Irons, you mentioned, was in the Chili Peppers. He was also in Pearl Jam for a while. But Matt Cameron's longest job has been the drummer of Pearl Jam,
which is wild.
And it's hard not to bring his name up into it, because he's one of the great rock drummers that I don't think everybody knows how great he is.
And will end up being, I think, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice for Pearl Jam, because they're already in. And then Soundgarden's going to go in at some point, I believe. He'll be in there.
I kind of think Soundgarden may go in. So yeah,
Eventually.
I think he would go in. And then just so we don't get completely killed here, you know, Ronnie Wood, everyone knows that he's not an original Rolling Stone, and he's been in the band since 1974 after Brian Jones offed himself and you know,
a swimming accident or whatever it was.
Correct. But I mean, it's hard to say that Ronnie Wood's not the greatest replacement band member of all time too, right? I mean, think about the duration. He's been doing it since 74. Could anybody even see the Stones and not think of Ronnie Wood being up there? And it wasn't like he was a nobody, you know? I mean, he bounced around. Yeah. And then he was with, he replaced, he was in the Faces, but he was in something else too. I don't know, some Yardbirdy, whatever. But Ronnie Wood, you know, is he the greatest replacement band member? I don't know. But I on purpose left Ringo and I left Ronnie Wood off. The only one that I was going to maybe argue with you, because it was my rule, no singers, but David Gilmour replaced Syd Barrett, and David Gilmour could sing.
Right.
So he became the singer, but I mean, he kind of replaced him as a guitar player.
Correct.
And then just kind of took over the band. But I mean, David Gilmour, I mean, Syd Barrett was
crazy.
The early stuff, he was crazy. He was legitimately crazy. But Shine On You Crazy Diamond, David Gilmour, it's very few people hold a candle to David Gilmour's guitar playing, but he was a singer. So I didn't want to bring that up.
You're blurring the lines. You're blurring the lines. Yeah, that was, you know.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you about this, and I was thinking that you were going to maybe shoehorn this in, but maybe your little butt is still hurt. I mean, Wolfgang did a pretty good job being the replacement bass player in the band of his last name.
Yeah, but did he make it better? Did they do anything? I mean, that album they put out afterwards with him is just not good. It's just not good. You know,
but he was great live. Stuff. He held down those background vocals. I mean, you know, Michael Anthony.
Play, you know, all that shit.
I love Michael Anthony. So I was wondering if you were going to shoehorn Wolfgang Van Halen in there.
No, not for that. No, I mean, he did. I get why his old man wanted to do it. I totally get it. It's fine, whatever. But yeah, that he just, you know, he didn't make the band better. Now, what he did do was get his old man out on the road, and Wolfie was involved in putting together these really good set lists. He would bust out these songs that I hadn't played in years. So he was responsible for that. So there was some good he did, but he doesn't make the band, you know, sound better or have success or anything like that. But
I agree with you 100%. He's going out on tour. Do you see now they're skipping, and I didn't see a New Orleans date either.
No.
He's going out with Dirty Honey. They just announced today.
Oh, really? I didn't see this.
And if you guys haven't seen, it's kind of like the Young Guns of rock type of thing. I don't know. If you guys aren't turned on to Dirty Honey, great band, just a rock band, long hair, guy can sing. Just think like maybe a little harder Black Crowes, you know, straight ahead rock with a blues influence. Dirty Honey they're awesome. I love them. And they're another one of these up and coming bands where if you think that rock is dead, Dirty Honey is another one of these bands you got to listen to.
I want to see Wolfie. I want to see him live. I know you got a chance to see him live. I really want to see him live just because, you know, I'm pulling for the kid. I want him to have his success, but I want him to have his own success. I want him to just keep creating great music. Cause I think he's got,
and it will be his own success. He sounds like he's like, flat out. He's like, don't fucking come here and thinking I'm going to play Panama. It's not happening.
I love it. I wish he'd stay off social media a little bit, but he's got the right mindset for it. He's like, no, I'm doing my thing. It's hard to separate from your last name being what it is, but hey, you know what? I want to see him. Rod, coming up, there is this thing that's been thrown around the last couple of months, the Great Resignation. The Great Resignation. People are quitting their jobs like crazy. I just found this out. 55% of Americans plan to change jobs in the next year. 55% of Americans. That's insane. So I thought, hey, wait a minute. I can't tell you. I went on a job interview a few years back when I kind of got out of the biz for a hot minute. And let me tell you, it sucked. I didn't like it. I didn't know what I was doing and I was terrible, but I got the job. You probably haven't been on a job interview, like outside a radio normal job interview in decades. So I thought, why don't I run down a couple of job interview questions. I'll be the interviewer, and you're going to try and get a job with me, Rod. I'm going to throw some
up. Like if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
You'd fucking leave. That's what you do. Yeah. So I want to just kind of do the exercise. It's easy. Nothing hard, man. Nothing hard. You know, we'll get into some interview questions because you know what? There's a lot of people going to be changing jobs. A lot of people going through this coming up this next year.
I feel like you're jinxing us right now. Like, okay, hey, Rod, I'm getting you ready because I think you're probably going to be going on some interviews in the new year.
No, I had nothing to do with it.
They're unhappy with you over there. So
no, nothing to do with that.
Well, it looks like our last remaining sponsor is still around, the Pirates of the Quarter.
For now.
Uno sponsor, our number one sponsor now of the Play Pants podcast.
Wow.
They've just number one with a bullet. Pirates of the Quarter, please don't fold. They were recently named by Travel and Hospitality as 2021's Innovative Tour Company of the Year.
Wait. How bad is it when you're doing a spot?
Please stay open.
Begging your sponsor not to fold. Holy shit. What are we doing here? Oh my God.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, our one sponsor, for still being open. They just found out they are the only sponsor of the Play Pants podcast. And they just found out that Luxury Travel Guide named the Pirates of the Quarter as the 2021 Cultural Tour Company of the Year. There's no other walking tour that sponsors Play Pants, or there's no other walking tour like this in the city of New Orleans. It's rated 5 stars. 10 stars by us here at Play Pants.
We love it.
But it's a 5-star rated. It is an actual 5-star rated. It's a ton of fun. Discover the pirate history of New Orleans at the piratesofthequarter.com. Great website. Please, everybody, go to that website. Please, let's get some traffic in there. Now, spots are booking up fast. So be sure to check out the Pirate Pub Crawl Tour on the weekends. You go from bar to bar. You're hearing all kinds of crazy stories of real pirate history that happened in New Orleans. My favorite stories of all time. Details on the link wherever you get this podcast. Please keep it rolling for the children. Piratesofthequarter.com and at Pirates of the Quarter. I'm begging you to please go to their social media and click like everything. Okay, like. Share the shit out of what they post, okay? Please, let's do whatever we can to keep our one sponsor. Let's keep that open sign lit for piratesofthequarter.com. And one more time, that's piratesofthequarter.com, our only sponsor of the Play Pants podcast. Jason, over to you.
I can't believe more people don't want to sponsor this podcast. It blows my mind. You know what I mean? Well, if we keep going like this, we might both be out there looking for gigs. Apparently, a lot of people are changing jobs. And if you're going to change a job, hey, now's the time to do it because apparently 55% of Americans do plan on changing jobs within the next year. That's a lot. That's a lot of people changing jobs. I think, you know, obviously with the pandemic, people are like, I just kind of realized my old job sucks. I want to try a new one. Or you maybe don't have that job anymore. Either way, a lot of people are going to be going on job interviews. And having not done a lot of that in my lifetime, I was like, let me look up what that's even like. So I started finding all these fucked up interview questions that people will ask you in an interview. And I'm like, damn, these are kind of hard to answer, especially when you're like trying to get a gig. You know what I mean? Like you're keyed up and you're like, okay, I have to answer this perfectly or I'm never going to get the job. So I thought, why don't I just pick a couple and throw them at Rod and see how he does?
Oh, shit.
The first one is actually kind of more of just a generic question about radio, but it's a good question. Okay.
No, before you ask me this, and I would never do this. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm on an interview right now. So before we start the bit, because I did a little of this when I've interviewed people. I've interviewed a lot of people over the years. I mean, I've gone through a couple of co-hosts and stuff. And I've looked into a few of these things, and I don't like to trick or trip anybody up on these things. The stuff that you looked up, do you have the reasoning for the question? Like, I don't know why you would ask somebody, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? And then there's this long list of answers. Well, if they say oak, they're this type of person. If they say they're a peach tree, they're this type of person. If they're the partridge in the pear tree, they're this type of person. I never really believed in much of that. The only thing I ever looked for were people was like, how quickly can you think on your feet?
That's kind of what it is. It's like, how do you react to some of these questions? You kind of want to throw a little curveball in there because they've studied for all the generic shit. Why are you a great worker? I'm a great worker because, I show up on time and I bring coffee and an apple for the boss and all that shit. I don't want to hear that.
Player.
You know what? At the end of the day, as long as you've looked at the person's resume and they've got this basics, some of the skills you're looking for a specific job, I can teach you skills. I can't teach you attitude. I can't teach you positivity. I can't teach you the drive. I can't teach you that, hey, I want to work my ass off. That can't be taught. Skills can be taught. So I'm always trying to fucking dig around the skills and get to like that sort of situation. So here's a question I want to throw out. And it's actually someone listening who wants to get into radio. This really isn't an interview question. This is something I want to ask you out of the gate. What is one trait do you feel is most important for succeeding in radio? One trait for a worker, for someone.
Respecting the exercise, one trait.
Some young buck is like, oh yeah, man, well, this is gonna be great. These got two radio veterans. What's one trait you need to have?
Yeah, it's easy. You got to be open to do every job at the radio station. Nobody has one job. Oddly, except me, all I do is the morning show, which is weird. Everyone else has 2 and 3 jobs. Everybody is voice tracking for multiple stations around the country. And then, then you're going to be also helping with promotions, and you're going to go out and you're going to hang banners and then you're going to update the website, and then you're going to be going out and taking pictures. You're going to have to do every job. And if you're coming in, and this, because I know you've interviewed a lot of people when you were the program director, everybody gets into radio because the first thing they're going to tell you is like, well, I love music. Well, then you know what? Music is 5% of my day. 5% of 100% day, music is 5% of it. Now, I get it. I do a morning show. It's more topical. It's not, but we talk about music, which is fun and it's great, but we talk about everything else too. Yep. If you're just into music, I don't think you're going to like working in radio. If that's all you want to do, then just do a podcast about music and then go get paid to do something else. But everybody that comes to me, and we got into it. You and I. Why did we fall into this? Because we love music. But boy, you've got to do all sorts of other things. And the chance of you working at a radio station in the format that you like, I've been so blessed. I've been so fortunate. Jason's bounced around to a couple of different formats, but most of it's all been cool. Yeah. I've been very lucky. I've just kind of done this. I've done alternative radio at 3 and 4 places, but there's plenty of guys that are on Britney Spears stations that they're wearing AC/DC t-shirts, but it's a gig. They like entertaining. They like being on the radio and they like that whole thing, but fuck, they got to play Britney Spears, or they work at a country station and it's not really in their heart, but it's entertaining and it's radio and it's fun. Boy, you're going to be lucky if you get a job in radio and it's the format that you like.
Yeah, because you're gonna eat shit at a country station or a business radio station where you're giving stock updates where we started or anything like that. I mean, but you know what? I was smiling from ear to ear every day I went into that station in the early days. I didn't care. I was working in radio.
The phrase "that's not my job" does not exist. It is your job. No, it is your job. Like, don't we have people for this? Short answer: no. We don't have people for this. You're the people.
Yeah, you just do it. And yeah, okay. Well, I just wanted to throw that out there because people always want to know about the radio thing. That's why they listen to this podcast. Here's a simple one. Okay, Rod. Now you're on the clock. Now you're interviewing.
Okay,
Rod. This upcoming job that you're applying for is going to create a lot of stress in your life because it's a very high activity, high stress position. What's the best way how do you manage your personal stress?
I would like to think that I operate well under stress, and it's been a strong suit of mine forever. I like being the quarterback with 30 seconds left. I got to go down the whole field. By the way, guys, always use sports analogies. So I love 30 seconds on the clock. I feed off of it. I want people to see that I'm going to rise to the occasion. And then hopefully the people by osmosis around me will also rise to the occasion. You have to maintain a level head, but man, bring on the stress. I didn't get into this job to be stress-free. I knew that it was going to be stressful. I want the fast pace. I want it moving quick. And you know what? And I always say this, I want to be the quarterback. I'm going to take the heat when it's bad and it's probably not deserved, but I'm also going to take a lot of the success. My name's going to be at the top of a lot of the success that we do. It's like, that's what I thrive on. So that's something that I look forward to.
Damn,
that's no bullshit. I really do.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer, by the way.
I do like that. Obviously, if the person is completely not in sports, don't go throwing a bunch of sports analogies out there. But I do like that fucking 30 seconds on the clock, because who do you think of? Fucking Tom Brady.
Yep.
Except for this game against the Saints, you just assume if he's got 30 seconds and he's on his 10-yard line, you should have never left him that time. And who's better under pressure than him? I mean, Aaron Rodgers. It's just they live on that. They live off of that.
But your answer was great. Okay. And you're not always going to win. You're going to have failures along the way. But what you said in the second part of the answer is, look, man, if I fail, that shit's on me. And you know what? That's going to be motivation for the next time. I'll make damn sure I won't ever fail again. So nice answer. This is a good one. This would be fun to find out. Looking back on the last 5 years of your career, what's your one highlight? Like, what's the highlight that really sticks in the last 5 years? You can go back farther. I'm not going to fucking check your math.
Right.
One highlight, because I know, like, in our world, every day is pretty fucking cool, and I'm not going to just sugarcoat that. It is. It's fucking cool. You're interviewing all kinds of rock stars all the time. You just had Tom Morello a couple of weeks ago. I mean, for you to pick out a highlight, like, what is something that really sticks out?
Do I want to work for a guy that says, I'm not going to fucking check the clock here? I mean, I like your interview style, though. I like it. I could work for you.
I'm a little loose.
I would have to say, being asked by my company, iHeartRadio, to represent the entire company and interview U2 that was carried on 100 radio stations live. And it was U2's moment to apologize for filling everybody's iTunes library, messing with their playlists when they gave away the free album.
Yep.
They truly wanted to do something unique. They wanted to do something that no one had ever done before, and U2 can do that. And it backfired. So there was a little bit of, hey, we still want to promote our album, but we also we need an opportunity to tell people, hey, okay, maybe we shouldn't have done this. I was chosen by my company to fly out to Miami. And I mean, we have 800 radio stations and there's 50 people at minimum at each station. They asked me to do it. And that really meant a lot to me, that they trusted me to handle that moment, because there was so much heat on U2 at the time. And we were getting an exclusive where they were going to talk about it for the first time. And I knew it had to be handled. And talk about being under a pressure cooker. I've never had that much pressure in my career. I don't think ever. Wow. And it was an honor to be asked. And then better yet, to get the approval of all the higher ups in iHeart to say, wow, you guys did a really, really good job with that. Validation for, being asked.
Shit. Yeah. But that goes back to the previous question, 30 seconds on the clock. You got to fucking go talk to Bono. Holy shit. I mean, yeah. Wow. That's awesome. All right. You're doing all right. I think you might get this gig, Rod. Now, this is going to be a tough one. If you don't want to answer this, that's cool. I get it.
We talked about a penis pump under my bed. What am I not answering?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll skip on to the next question then. I was going to ask you about the penis pump. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
What am I passing on this show? Nothing.
Eventually, way down the road, in case the bosses are listening, if someday you leave radio for whatever reason.
Okay, sure.
Okay?
Of course. It's going to happen.
Tell me about your ideal next role. And this is kind of timely because, the bar thing, we've done that. We're good. We've got that out of our system. We've done that, Rodney.
Or a restaurant.
What's something, because you've had to have thought about this at some point. Like, are you just going to go out and fucking golf every day? Are you going to be that guy? I don't think you are, because you need shit to do.
Yeah, I can't sit. But I never have sat, and I don't know what it's like. I don't think that I would like it. I'm the rarest of radio people in more ways than one. I've not been let go from a job. I've not been fired. I've not been in between jobs since 1994. I have never had a down day where I wasn't getting a paycheck from a radio station. So sure, you think that, wow, I would like to decompress, and I would take some time. I really would. I would have to do a little bit of traveling or something. But of course I would get back into it in some way. I don't think I could ever with podcasting, it's opened up. I mean, look at what we do. We got one sponsor. And their rates are really good.
Really good.
We do this because we like it.
Yeah.
And I think I could be satisfied by just sitting around, talking with my pal, and not stress. This doesn't stress me out. I want more people to listen to this podcast. I know I'm going off on a tangent. I don't think I would do this in an interview. I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really do. I should probably talk about it more on the show, and I should probably promote it more and do all of that. I really wish more people listened to it, but I don't have that pressure. I'm not under a pressure cooker like I am with work. And this is, although we put in our time, we come up with things, and, we're coming up with things to talk about. That's fun. And this is fun. And I think that this would scratch my itch. I really do. I think this would scratch my itch by doing a couple of these because it's in our hands now. We've never had the upper hand on any management anywhere, but the internet has leveled the playing field. Now, believe me, my microphone is much bigger over with iHeartRadio, and I reach so many more people.
Sure.
And the day that I no longer have that to talk to people, I still have 350,000 people on my Facebook page and 110,000 people on Twitter and whatever the numbers are. You'll still be able to get information out. You don't have to fall off the edge of the earth,
right?
Because you're going to be there, and people. So, I mean, would I be on social media every day? I think day one, I blow up fucking Twitter. I really do. I think, fuck you, Twitter. I'm out of here. I do it because I need it for my job.
Yep.
I think it's the angriest place on earth. I really do. I would not need that kind of toxic anything in my life. I would keep this going and maybe get a sponsor that paid money.
Hey, now there's a fucking novel idea.
Hey, Pirates, I would maybe get a sponsor that pays money. Love you, Pirates. You're my only sponsor right now. Stay on with us, please.
Yeah, we got one sponsor. That's great. Oh, yeah.
You know that neither one of us are going to sit around and fucking fish for the rest of our lives. I just don't ever see that happening. I'm not rocking chair, read a book guy.
No.
I'll go nuts. I would go nuts. I know I would.
What's cool about this is that, my kid's 13, right? And he's talking like, and he's fairly smart, thank God for a good mom, and he just busts out the other day. He goes, where I could go to college? And I go, I don't know where. Why are you thinking about college? You're not even in high school yet, dude. He goes, well, I'm really into fish and marine biology and all this shit. He goes, I should go to Hawaii for college. And I go, you're goddamn right, you should.
Damn.
Because I'm moving to Hawaii. And my point with that is, with technology being what it is, I've done shows from Florida. You've done shows from Buffalo. We could do this. You could be traveling around the world. I could be traveling around the world. As long as we sync up on a whatever night, Wednesday night at 7:00, and we record this thing, we go about our day. We'll get a few more sponsors. It'd be helpful, but you get the idea. You know, that's what's great about this is we can do this. We can go on and, you know, not that we would, but we could create a sports podcast version. We never will because I don't know shit about sports, but you get the idea. You know, we could do just a strictly music version. We could do, I mean, there's a million different, or you get other dudes to do this with you. I don't give a shit, you know, but that is what's great for guys like us. There is a future still, even if we don't, you know, if I get whacked tomorrow or whatever the situation may be, I can still do this.
We're coming at you, Barstool. Okay. Play Pants is going to be just the whatever Zuckerberg is calling his company now, right? So it's just metaverse. Okay. It's just going to be the Play Pants verse. And then we're going to do sports and we're going to do the chicks that talk dirty over here. And we're coming at you, Barstool. I got my eyes on you, Presidente.
You know, if we could find people to work for free, we could actually do that. All under the Play Pants umbrella. We've got a whole thing. I'm sure we can find people to do podcasts for free. I don't know, because there is work involved. We gotta find something to do. Well, I think
I'm not done yet. You're not done yet, right? You're not retiring, are you?
No. But you never know. Any day, you know. You said you've never been whacked. I've gotten whacked twice, but not because of cause, because of format fucking changes. Because people thought
it happens.
To be better, and I'm like, you're gonna fucking fail. Like when they fired me, I'm like, okay, that's cool. What are you gonna do? And I'd explain to them why it wouldn't work on the way out. I'm like, they're like, you got to go to HR. I'm like, yeah. I'll fill the paper. I don't give a shit. But here, I'm going to explain to you why this won't work. And it wasn't sour grapes. I said, from a guy who studies radio and programs for a living, this isn't going to work, you know? And then 6 months on the road, they're fucking switching to something else. And I'm like, well, I was right. You know, that's how that works. But yeah, it sucks when you get whacked, dude. And we'll have to save those stories for another time because they're fucking funny as shit.
I have 2 more years on this contract. So they don't like you going into your last year without something signed. If they don't come to me at all next year, then the writing's on the wall that it's like, okay, we're going to go a different direction. But Daddy just got bonused. We were number 1 everywhere we needed to be. And I mean, number 1, like not just like, well, Rod, there's not another alternative station. I'm not really allowed to talk a lot about ratings.
No, you can't do that.
And I don't on the air. I never do. I think it's kind of like boring to people. I would find it very interesting, but I'm me. We never talk on the air like, hey, man, we were just number 1. We don't push ourselves as like Houston's number 1 morning show and blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of idiots saying that here. And it's not true. For real, you can cut a pie any way you want. You know, you could be number 1, 22-year-old girls. Okay, you don't have to tell people what you're number 1 in, but you can cut those demographics up any way you want. So everybody could run around saying they're number 1. But, you know, in all the demographics and all the things that we're supposed to do, we're number 1. And you'd be dumb to fire me if you're listening. Nobody listens to this. Otherwise, I might already have been asked to leave if they heard this dumb show. All right. It wasn't my penis pump. It wasn't mine. It was not mine. It was set up. Ginty set me up.
No,
smoking gun right there.
Dude,
check the prints.
There's movers standing around. They're all holding, like one guy's got a lamp in his hand. Like why do I remember that scene so well? I think I wasn't in shock.
Mortified.
For the fact that there's a fucking penis pump under your bed. I was more in shock that we all stood around and stared at it for about 5 minutes before you walked in the room and nobody knew what to say. And then you just come and go,
that's the penis pump. I got it. I'm not going to make you pick that up, guys. All right. We don't need to bring that up. Any other questions, sir? I'm really interested in this job.
No, you're not, because it doesn't pay shit. And, you know, you already got the gig. So no, I just thought it was an interesting exercise, man. It's just to show you. You got to put your homework in before you go on a job interview, though, because man, they don't ask questions like they used to. They're looking for ways to kind of trip you up, see how you think on your feet. But a lot of people changing jobs in the next year, man. So if you're working next to somebody, maybe you don't like them. Hey, they may be gone in the next year.
I've interviewed 100 people from all over the country, to phone interviews, to face-to-face. I mean, a lot of it's been well documented here in Houston with the changing of co-hosts. You know, Nothing was more transparent than when Dinah got her job. I allowed 5 people to come in, and now it's always in my control, but I don't share that much information with everybody when I'm looking for a new co-host. And that was very vulnerable because I got the 5 people. I felt good about them. And then I flew them in and I put them on the air. Now everybody's telling me what to do. And that was really uncomfortable. And Dinah wasn't everybody's favorite,
Right.
And I said, I appreciate everybody's input and I wanted to get them involved because, hey, this is your show too. I didn't do it that way when Dinah left the show, because she passed away afterwards. When she left the show on good terms and everything, they asked me if I wanted to do that again. I said, fuck no. No, I'll do it. I got this. I'm not doing a dog and pony show again for my life.
No, well, you get too many cooks in the kitchen. That old saying is actually true. You got too many people, all with different agendas, and different opinions, and they don't know your show like you know your show. So, you got to work with that person every day.
But going back to other people and bringing some cooks in, I want everybody to feel like a part of the show. My name's on it,
right?
But I can't do it by myself. And everybody that's ever worked on that show, good, bad, ugly, everything, they know that I can't do it myself. And I make that very, very clear. So when we were replacing Doug, who did sports, brought in a guy, didn't work out, did some interviews. And I said, you know what, Dinah, why don't you come? I wanted her to feel like a part of the process, and make her feel well. And again, I kind of threw her under the bus with this, and Alex was not her choice.
Shit.
He knew it. She knew it. They were best friends, but Alex was not her choice.
Wow.
When she went on a couple of these interviews with me and she came to a couple of lunches and stuff, she had another choice. And I said, well, I appreciate your input, but I'm going a different way. But I appreciate everything that you said. And I wanted you to be a part of this. And then we were able to laugh about it afterwards. So it's like, oh yeah. We would talk about it on the air. I'm like, yeah, you didn't even want him here. Okay.
Oh,
stop.
geez.
You didn't even want him.
When you're interviewed, and I've interviewed a bunch of people over the years and been part of an interview process, and it's like, I always took it super serious because not only do you not want to have to go through this shitty process again because you got the wrong person, but you're dealing with people's lives, man. Like there's really not a better phone call you can make than, hey, you got the job. You start on Monday. Like that's a great phone call to make.
I really, I have enjoyed that because I know we've talked on early podcasts what it was like when we were offered our jobs. And to see that dopey grin on Vince Richards' face. And I tell him, I had lunch with him or I had dinner with him a couple of weeks ago. And I always relive that story. And I just say, dude, at the time I wasn't married and I didn't have a kid, but I've always told him that was the greatest day of my life. When he offered me that job, you and I got jobs on the first day,
same day.
And he always says, he goes, that was so fun for me. And he goes, now looking at what you guys have done, it's just only made that moment even better because I've built it up so much over the years of when he gave us the job. So when I call somebody up, I remember telling Dinah, I remember telling Alex, I remember telling everybody, hey, you got the job. And most recently calling Tessa. And for some reason I was at the Galleria Mall and I called her because we got everything done. And then boom, delivering that phone call is just the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's really a great phone call.
Telling somebody, if you can do it face to face, it's even better, right. But she was in LA at the time, but it was just, I hope it's a huge thing that she takes and they all take away for the rest of their lives. Don't think that the person, when they tell you you're hired, I hope that's a big deal for that person because it's been a big deal for me every time. Even when the person didn't work out, telling that person that they were on the show was so fun for me. Alex said he grew up listening to the Rod Ryan show. He couldn't believe he was on the show. He goes, I grew up listening to the show. He goes, listening to your show is the reason I wanted to do radio. He goes, Jesus, somebody pinched me. I can't believe I'm on the show. You mean I work here now? I go, yeah, you're on the show. And he just, hearing that, how could that not make you like, how could you not float for a week after hearing that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. For you and him,
Yes.
when you think about that, that's A, shows you're fucking old. And it shows B, that like how great though, for people get those opportunities. But going back to my original question,
it doesn't last long though. And this, like, oh my God, you're on the show and it's like, okay, let's fucking talk about the shitty pay right here. Okay, here's the shitty part.
Well, it always fucking goes down pretty quick. Wait, I'm getting paid. What? Wait, where do I park my car? I don't know. You'll figure it out.
Here's where you apply for food stamps.
But it goes back to the first question. What trait do you feel is important in succeeding in radio? You got to find people, and I'm sure it's not just radio. I'm sure it's any job. You got to be able to do everything. You got to be able to do everything now.
Yeah.
In any situation.
I think that's everywhere though. I don't think that's a radio thing.
It's not.
I know that people have probably said that before that are listening right now. Well, that's not my job. Well, but that's not my fucking A. Guess what? Look around, man. Look around, Jack. We're cut in half here, but we still are being asked by corporate. Okay, I have corporate. You have corporate.
Yep.
You work for a machine shop. You have corporate. There's less people. They're cool with having less people working there. They're not cool with production being down 50%.
Nope.
They want production to go up with less people. Guess what? That is your fucking job now.
It certainly is.
That over there, that's my job. Yeah, that's your job too. But some guy used to come around and do that. No. Now you do that.
Yeah,
we don't have a guy to do that. We don't have a girl to do that. You do that. In addition to my job, I do that. Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, but you also have technology that helps you do that. Unfortunately, technology is great. It eliminates jobs, which is why you always want to keep up on the technological advances in your workplace. Always. I don't have any final thoughts, Rod. That was my final thought. The job thing is going to be wild the next couple of years. There's going to be people coming and going. What am I listening to?
You're listening to. You don't have any final thoughts? Because I do.
I don't. I mean, I could come up with them, but I don't care. I got none. What do you got for me?
Okay.
What are you gonna give me shit about my microphone last week some more?
Yeah, you really sounded like dog shit.
That's not the microphone. That's my shitty voice. I don't think you've realized that.
Okay. So I'm gonna play a clip for you. It's 10 seconds of our show from last week.
I hope it comes through.
Can you hear it?
Sometimes though, when we play shit back, it doesn't always translate, but we'll figure it out. Hopefully it will. If it doesn't come through, send me the audio and I'll fucking edit it into the thing if I have to.
Here we go. I'm going to play you 10 seconds of audio. We're listening for something at 8:39. I'm going to start at 8:29. So it's early into the podcast last week. Okay. Here we go. I hope you can hear. You watch baseball with a different way. I mean, this is, you and I, we didn't grow up in a Major League Baseball city. Here it comes. So I grew up a Yankees fan, but I didn't know baseball. You learn. People know baseball. We're being called out for somebody farting on the podcast at 8:39 on our podcast last week. There is some sort of a glitchy thing. I'm not going to say that I've never farted while talking to you on this podcast in now 30 episodes. I don't know if that's a fart right there, but it's a recent comment from Richie Rich 23G 4 days ago. He says, okay, who farted at 8:39?
Really?
Wow. Now I've made a career about talking about celebrities farting. There's some great ones that come to mind. I've got plenty of them in the can at the radio station. I know for a fact Whoopi Goldberg farted on the View. I know 100% that. Oh, geez, what's the blonde? Oh my God, blah blah blah. She was that lawyer on CNN when she was on Dancing with the Stars. Farted.
Yeah,
okay,
it happens.
She farted. I have Regis Philbin farting, and probably most famously, I have Larry King farting. And then there's stories of him having a fart fan away. Again, I'm going to give it 10 seconds. And could you hear us talking when I played the clip?
Yeah, it came out loud and clear. I didn't hear any farting though.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna. You watch baseball with a different way. I mean, this is you and I. We didn't grow up in a Major League Baseball city,
right?
So I grew up a Yankees fan, but I didn't know baseball. But I didn't know baseball. There's a little glitch in there, and we're being accused of farting, and I don't think it's a fart.
No, I don't think it is either. I mean, I would admit it if it was me. First of all, I'd be sitting here laughing because I can't not laugh. If it's me, I'm fucking laughing, dude. Every time I'm not laughing.
Because I know if it's a silent one, that's not funny to me. But if something a little rips here, like I'm gonna start fucking laughing, and I'm gonna tell you guys, okay, listen, I just busted ass and it stinks in here. I hope my wife doesn't walk in right now. I don't think it's a fart, but what I have managed to do now is double the listeners and the viewers of last week. And I am making a fart face right at that moment too. God, I'm really making a fart face. Maybe I shit my pants. Okay. Maybe it did. Maybe I did shit. I'm looking at where I stopped. You look like you're plugging your nose, and I'm looking like I am cutting a massive turd in my office chair. Maybe I farted, dude. Maybe I did.
800 miles apart, so that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it looks like we're sitting next to each other, but we're not.
I may have farted last week. I really don't think it is. I would own it, but last week's podcast, episode 29, 8:39 in. There's a little glitch. That could be shit.
First of all,
passed over through somebody's asshole.
You're really listening pretty intently close on that. Of course, I guess if you're listening with headphones on, you hear a lot more.
Everybody's got earbuds on listening to this.
I suppose, but no, that didn't. Nah, you know what? Believe me, if I think I did it, I would be like, yep, and I'd be sitting here laughing my ass off, and I'd be embarrassed, but I'd be laughing out loud. Nah, you'll catch it. You believe me, it'll happen, and then I will just be laughing. I'll just be fucking laughing. I can't not. That's never not going to be funny to me. I don't know why. I thought I would outgrow that.
Okay,
I really did.
I'm going to see if this works. I just want you to. I want to show you where I paused.
Oh God!
I want to show you where I paused. So let's see how. This is the most lo-fi shit I've ever done in my life.
Jesus, I guess.
Let's see.
Hard to see with the lighting. Oh yeah, it does kind of look like you're shitting your pants.
Look at my face. Okay, wait. I'm just trying to find where
the light's jacking it all up.
Yeah, I know.
What Rod's doing is showing us a picture of his phone on our YouTube channel. You really got to check out the YouTube version so you can see the video of this shit.
Yeah, you can't see, but right there.
Oh yeah, there it is. You're making a weird face.
I look like I shit my pants, and you look like
I'm plugging my nose.
And you look like you're plugging your nose. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, I could smell you all the way here in fucking New Orleans.
From a million miles away. Yeah, no, I don't think that's how that works, but okay, all right.
That's not. I'm sharding. I don't remember having a mess in my pants at the end of last week's episode, but I look like it's dripping down my leg right there.
No, you know what it looks like? Wait for it, because I can't let it go. It looks like you got your penis pumped to finally get suction, and you might want to pull a couple extra pulls, and it's too tight now. You can't get it off.
Engaged. I got a good seal finally. Okay, let's see if this sucker works, man. All right, full power. Crank it up to 5. I think it was a 1 through 5. I'm gonna put it on 5.
Now you're freaking hung down to 4.5 inches, bro. That's good. The thing worked great. All right, I've had enough for one night. Holy shit. Good stuff tonight. I like the job interview thing. I thought that was fun, Rod. See, there you go. You got your future set.
Did I get the job?
No, I'm going with a hot chick.
No, farty. You fucking farted the whole time during the interview, okay? Like the Step Brothers.
You shit your pants. You got a penis pump. Yeah, you're fucking prime for this company, man. You're the guy.
Listen, I know I got a bit of a past, but it's all behind me. Okay. I haven't farted since last week's podcast.
Right.
Penis pump. I'm telling you, I put that penis pump in my rearview mirror. I haven't tried one since. I'm good. I'm your guy. Okay. I'm your guy. I'm solid.
One more question, Rod, for the job interview then. How you doing for No Nut November?
I ripped it yesterday. So
I'm out. No, I'm out. There you go.
I'm out.
Yeah, we like to adhere to the rules here at this company. So sorry, you are not getting hired with us, dude. And if I'm the boss and I'm asking questions like this, I'm pretty much gonna have to go to HR and get fired myself.
I said I wanted to do this after I retire. Am I fucking crazy? I want to do this is fun. I'm stressed out. Okay.
Yeah, I get a little worked up. Like Monday afternoon, I start getting a little worked up. Like, oh shit, we got to fucking think of stuff. And I'm like digging through shit. I'm like, what are we going to talk about?
In this podcast there was, I mean, it's all real. It's all of us talking, but I just don't, I guess I don't say these things, but pass this podcast along to other people. Try to snake in a few other people. If there's even one person still listening after all of this, but like put it on your page and say, hey man, this is what I'm listening to. If you have friends that listen to podcasts and they're similar to you, maybe they'll enjoy it as well. I would like more people to listen to it. I would. Okay. It's not a ton of work, but I'd like to get some more ears and eyes on this thing. So help us. You guys are in on the ground floor still. It's only episode 30. Okay. So do what you can to help us promote this thing.
Yeah, we do appreciate the shit out of everybody who listens. And I love the comments, man. We get great comments. People will disagree with our top 5 list, which is why we do them. That's great. And like we always say almost every episode, I love doing the top 5 list because I get to learn new shit, and I love the feedback. This is me and you hosting a podcast, but we want the involvement. We want other people because I feel like we can all learn different shit throughout every week. And I know I will go and I'm going to be like, I didn't get a chance to look up UFO's music last week. I didn't get a chance to do my homework.
Dude, come on. Live album.
Now I wrote it down.
Strangers in the Dark.
Yeah. And I wrote down the band Dirty Honey. Is that what you said?
Oh, Dirty Honey. They're going out on tour with Wolfie.
That's what it was. I wrote it down somewhere.
They're awesome.
So, I mean, like, it's all about discovery and learning, We're just 2 dipshits that are kind of the conduit doing it.
Dipshits.
Wait, that's what we should put on the paperwork for advertisers. It's just 2 dipshits being conduits to other people.
Yeah. Waste your money on these dipshits. Why put your money on other podcasts when these dipshits over here could talk about your product?
We had 2 sponsors and we lost one already in 30 episodes.
Yeah, yeah, we're down. I think we're down. I'm not 100% sure that we're down, but I'm pretty sure we only have 1 sponsor moving forward. Pretty sure. But check your local listings if you head out to Lucky's Pub West. See if the door's still open.
And if you're thinking of coming to New Orleans, I just want to put one more last plug. If you're thinking of coming to New Orleans, yeah, man, like Halloween weekend was lit. It was New Orleans of old. It's the first time in a year and a half that New Orleans felt like New Orleans, man. It was rocking. It was rocking. So if you're thinking about coming, man, things are opening up and the party is here. It's back. So you definitely want to do it sooner than later. Start booking your rooms out and all your shit, itineraries in the future, because now you get good rates. The more time passes, man, the rates start to go up quick.
Clearly, the advertising that they purchased on the Rod Ryan show here in Houston, visit neworleans.com. Clearly, the money was well spent because I'm sending a ton of people to the city of New Orleans.
And that's
all because of the advertising.
I've actually heard from the Pirates of the Quarter. They reach out to me occasionally and they're like, yes, we are seeing people in New Orleans take this tour from the Playpants podcast. So the advertising is working. Just for future advertisers.
We're coming for you, Barstool. We're coming.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Later.
Let's go. It's time. Put on Playpants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at Playpants Pod.